Everybody talks about Saul Alinsky and the rules for radicals, and your eyes glaze over. And yet this man, Alinsky, and his book, Rules for Radicals, do as much as anything else to give you a look into the soul of Barack Obama, who he is, what he believes. Alinsky, Rules for Radicals. Remember, we are talking about revolution, not revelation. You can miss the target by shooting too high as well as too low. He's telling them how to change the country, how to conduct a quiet revolution. First, there are no rules for revolution anymore. Then there are rules for love or rules for happiness. But there are rules for radicals who want to change their world. There are certain central concepts of action in human politics that operate regardless of the scene or the time. To know these is basic to a pragmatic attack on the system. That, ladies and gentlemen, is exactly what you're witnessing and living through. These rules make the difference between being a realistic radical and being a rhetorical one who uses the tired old words and slogans. Now, this failure of many of our younger activists to understand the art of communication has been disastrous. Even the most elementary grasp of the fundamental idea that one communicates within the experience of his audience and gives full respect to the other's values would have ruled out attacks on the American flag. The responsible organizer would have known that it is the establishment that has betrayed the flag, while the flag itself remains the glorious symbol of America's hopes and aspirations. And he would have conveyed this message to his audience. In other words, ladies and gentlemen, use America's symbols, use the language of patriotism against society. On another level of communication, humor is essential, for through humor much is accepted that would have been rejected if presented seriously. This is a sad and lonely generation. It laughs too little, and this too is tragic. As an organizer, I start from where the world is, as it is, not as I would like it to be. That we accept the world as it does not in any sense weaken our desire to change it into what we believe it should be. It is necessary to begin where the world is if we're going to change it to what we think it should be. That means working in the system. There's another reason for working inside the system. Dostoevsky said that taking a new step is what people fear most. Any revolutionary change must be preceded by a passive, affirmative, non-challenging attitude toward change among the mass of our people. You got that? They must feel so frustrated, so defeated, so lost, so futureless in the prevailing system that they are willing to let go of the past and change the future. Sound a lot like the Obama campaign? This acceptance is the reformation essential to any revolution. To bring on this reformation requires that the organizer work inside the system, among not only the middle class, but the 40% of American families, more than 70 million people, whose incomes range from $5,000 to $10,000 a year. Again, 1971. They cannot be dismissed by labeling them blue-collar or hard hat. They will not continue to be relatively passive and slightly challenging. If we fail to communicate with them, we don't encourage them to form alliances with us. They will move to the right. Maybe they will anyway, but let's not let it happen by default. And so what he's talking about is through various devices expanding the reformation that leads to revolution to the middle class, especially blue-collar workers. And that's what they're doing right now with their commercials and with their so-called tax credits, which are nothing more than massive welfare payments to people who don't pay income taxes. More from the Rules for Radicals. We will start with the system because there is no other place to start from except political lunacy. What he's doing is he's saying, hey, look, you radicals who don't understand how to do things, you're damaging us. I, Saul Alinsky, am telling you how to organize communities, how to expand our influence, how to use the flag, American symbols, how to use the language to conduct this revolution from within. Sound familiar? It is most important, he writes, for those of us who want revolutionary change to understand that revolution must be preceded by reformation. To assume that a political revolution can survive without the supporting base of a popular reformation is to ask for the impossible in politics. So what Obama is doing now, without saying it, is promoting a reformation. That is, a system-wide, society-wide reform movement. And that's why you hear $1 trillion or more in new spending. That's why you hear about these constant attacks, class warfare, attacks on corporate America. This is part of the Reformation that lays the foundation for revolution. Mark, what are you talking about? Ladies and gentlemen, I am reading from Rules for Radicals, Saul Alinsky. One of these Alinsky nut jobs is the guy who brought Obama into the community organizing field. I am reading from the book that Obama taught from, that Obama organized from. Now, you can close your ears to it, but I recommend you listen before you wake up Wednesday morning after Election Day and wonder what the hell happened to your country. Saul Alinsky goes on. Men don't like to step abruptly out of the security of familiar experience. They need a bridge to cross from their own experience to a new way. A revolutionary organizer must shake up the prevailing patterns of their lives, agitate, create disenchantment and discontent with the current values to produce, if not a passion for change, at least a passive, affirmative, non-challenging climate. This word change you will find in Rules for Radicals endlessly. You will also find the word hope, creating hope where there's despair. And you have to create despair, or at least the illusion of despair, in order to grab the attention of the quote-unquote middle class. And so Barack Obama has been campaigning people losing their homes, people losing their jobs, businesses going under. Woe is me, doom is here. This is the worst situation since the Great Depression. Before that it was the war. We can't win. Oh, woe is me. Look what we've done. We've upset the world. On and on and on. There's a reason for it. Reformation prior to revolution. A reformation means that masses of our people have reached the point of disillusionment with past ways and values. You understand? With past values, like our founding values, like our Judeo-Christian values, they need to be substituted. They don't know what will work, but they do know that the prevailing system is self-defeating, frustrating, and hopeless. They won't act for change, but won't strongly oppose those who do. The time is then ripe for revolution. Rules for Radicals. Remember, he writes, once you organize people around something as commonly agreed upon as pollution, then an organized people is on the move. From there, it's a short and natural step to political pollution, to Pentagon pollution.